whether these substances are effective in preventing some of these problems. And the results we shall see in the future. Hello. I'm Giuliano from the Filippo Silvestri Institute. When you're up there in the space station and you're looking at the Earth and all of its beauty, can you tell us that there is a means that you can perceive from your vantage point as to how conflict among men on Earth can be resolved? Well, that's a philosophical question, which is very important. Well, we as human beings have this planet, which is the only planet that we have for the time being. The Earth is very powerful. We can do a lot to the Earth. Nothing happens to it, but the problem is that if environmental conditions change, those which enable us to live, we will disappear, and after a few million years, the Earth will return to the way it was. We have to pay attention to work together to maintain this ship that is passing through the universe in order to be able to manage it more effectively and do everything to prevent what you suggested from happening. Hello, I am Ms. Larocco from the Scientific Institute of Rome. I would like to ask you, based on your experience, whether it was easier to train yourself to go into space or to come back to Earth and readapt to life on Earth. Which is more difficult? My experience from the two previous missions tells me that I adapt very easily to the absence of weight in orbit, but on the other hand, I repay that ease when I return to Earth. When the force of gravity grabs a hold of me again, it squashes me, pushes me toward the Earth. And I've got to tell you, the first days after my return to Earth were rather difficult, including the therapy and the work that I do to strengthen my exoskeletal and my eyes. This has been my experience so far. Returning to Earth is harder than going into space. Hello, Paolo. I am from the Einstein Institute. I would like to ask you, besides the scientific aspects of the mission, are there any other fundamental factors that induce you to leave? Yes, Laura. Certainly the technological and scientific goals and work that we do is very important, but also for me, this is the culmination of a dream, to do what I want to do, to follow my passions. And it's also a pleasure, certainly, to speak with you, all of you, to be able to transmit this idea of trying to do things that have been impossible. We're trying to, of course, explore everything that is around us, and to do what heretofore has been considered almost impossible, and to be able to bring this experience into everyone's home, into the schools. I am happy to do it, and I'll do it again as soon as I return to Earth in the future. Hello, I'm Emanuela from the Avogadro Scientific Institute. I'd like to know, well, when you distinguish your nighttime from Earth, what benefits will that bring to research in distinguishing nighttime from daytime? It's a very specific question regarding the scope of this is a precursor mission for a mission that will follow later. We're trying to investigate, to understand what happens as a result of cosmic rays. We don't know where they come from, where they go. There are many questions to which we have not found answers so far. The telescope is going to be used to make a mapping of the sources of lights on the Earth in order to be able to ensure that when we measure the lights that come from the outside, those that are generated by this external radiation, we'll be able to know exactly whether it is something from Earth or not. This seems a little bit complicated, a little bit bizarre, but it's something that's a very important question, because there's so many questions that still exist that we have not as yet responded to, and this is going to be one of those that's going to be able to bring forward our knowledge, to advance our knowledge. Okay, Paolo, thank you for having given you our time. It flew quickly by. I thank you again. It's always a pleasure to see you and to see you in good condition. I thank you again for all of the work that you're doing in space for us, but also for humanity as a whole. I'd like to give you a few seconds to give you a chance to greet again, pass along the greetings of the kids, the students here.
Grazie Germana, grazie Paolo.
Thank you, Germana and Paolo.
Presidente Battistoni,
Please
direttore generale,
give
e
me
un
my
saluto
best
a tutti
wishes
voi
to
ragazzi che
President
oggi avete passato
Battistone of
questa
the Italian
giornata
Space
all'Agenzia Spaziale Italiana.
Agency, and
Guardatevi
also
attorno,
greetings
fate
to all of
domande,
you
siate
young
curiosi,
folks who've been
tirate
there at the
fuori
Italian
tesori
Space Center
impossibili e poi svegliatevi
Agency.
e datevi da fare per
Ask
farli, perché
yourselves the
queste
questions,
missioni, anche
be wide
impossibili,
awake to
poi
the
diventano si
possibilities that
realizzano.
exist out there
Ci
for you
vedremo
so
tra
that
una
you can do
ventina
what you want to
d'anni,
do.
quando io
We shall
sarò
see
seduto
again
lì nell'auditorio
in 20
dell'Aia e
years when
tutti
I'll
voi
be sitting
sarete
down in
chissà
your
dove, su Marte, chissà
auditorium of the
dove,
Italian Space
e sarò io a
Agency, and
fare
you'll be
domande a
out
voi. È
in
un
Mars, I don't know
appuntamento.
where,
Ciao.
and I look forward to contacting you again. That's an appointment for us to keep in 20 years. Bye now.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants from European Space Agency. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.